Hi all, I'm Patrick, a technical specialist for Microsoft's business application. In today's video, I want to show you how you can solve RPAChallenge.com with Microsoft's Robotic Process Automation solution Power Automate Desktop. If you don't know, RPAChallenge.com provides challenges for RPA software with, for example, input fields which change location every time you enter information. So let's jump in.
The Excel we are getting from RPAChallenge.com looks like this. It contains contact information with 11 rows and columns spanning from A to G. Let's start in the Power Automate portal, where we create a Power Automate desktop flow to begin our RPA automation. Within the tool, let's search for our Excel action and use them to launch Excel. Here we want to select an existing document and unselect the Make Instance Visible option. Also, let's directly use the Close Excel action so we don't forget. Next, we want to identify the first 3 columns and rows in our Excel instance and also read the information within our Excel fields. Here we want to retrieve values from a range of cells, with a starting column at A and the row at 1. Let's use the variable first 3 column and subtract 1 to get the field before the first empty field. We could do the same with the row, or if we know the last one, just select the according row, in this case 11. Let's check both next fields for context and column names and hit save. Now it's time to launch our browser and open RPAChallenge.com. Let's have a short test to see that everything works. Now that our browser is open, we can add the UI elements from the website. We begin with the Start and Submit button and then also add all input fields of the website. Next, let's have a deeper look into our UI elements section with the Start button. Here we want to change the selected HTML code to custom and directly access the division tag containing the word Start with the Type button. Let's copy that and proceed to all input UI elements. In the first input element, we want to change the name to the input name, in this case first name, and change the input type to input. We are going to do this change to every one of the inputs and always change the containing name to the according input field name. Let's also rename the input elements to the according field to later find them again. After we're done editing all UI elements, we're going to select the action, press button on web page, and add the Start button. This will start the RPA challenge process and also the stopwatch. To minimize the process time, we're going to uncheck all selectors for waiting for the page to load for this scenario. Now it's time to add all UI elements, which we want to run in a for each loop, so that all parameters within the Excel will be entered into the different forms of the website. For this, let's add the Excel data variable as value and store it in the current item. fill in the fields, let's look at the action Populate Text Fields on Web Page and select our UI elements we just defined as elements. For the text input, we're going to use the current item variable with the addition of the individual value type. Here we start with the first name. Again, for the sake of speed, let's uncheck the emulate typing and also the wait for page load. We're now going to copy and paste this action for all other UI element inputs. Here we are changing the UI element and according to this, the text input from the Excel. After we're done adding all fields, let's add our last step, which is to press the submit button. So let's again create a press button action and select the submit UI element we recorded earlier. To finalize, let's save our process and start it in our RPA overview screen. And there you go. This is how you can beat the RPA challenge with Microsoft's Power Automate desktop in less than 2 seconds.